A place with the hellfire of Venus, unstoppable storms like those of Jupiter, a sealed-off world that could potentially support life, and a potential alien-like life form that doesn't use oxygen. You might think these places exist on distant planets or moons across our solar system, but some of them are actually right here on Earth. Find out more in this episode of 5 mysterious alien places that exist on Earth. Hidden on a sun-baked plateau in southern Peru are drawings so vast they disappear at ground level and only reveal themselves from the sky. Straight lines that slice the desert, animals that stretch longer than a football field, and a silence that has kept their purpose secret for centuries. Between roughly 500 BCE and 500 CE, a people we call the Nazca cleared the desert surface to expose pale earth beneath, creating hundreds of lines and dozens of figures. Some lines run for kilometers. Some animals span over 200 meters. The work is precise, monumental, and baffling to anyone who can't see it from above. There is no evidence the Nazca could fly. No balloons, no aircraft, no aerial platforms. Yet the lines are astonishingly straight and the figures proportioned as if sketched from a single vantage point in the sky. Simple tools and careful planning could explain the geometry, but that only deepens the mystery. Why invest so much labor into designs visible only from above? Scholars have proposed several competing ideas. One view sees the lines as ritual pathways, processional routes walked during ceremonies to petition the gods for water. In a landscape where rain is rare and life depends on fragile aquifers, ritual and survival are often inseparable. Another theory links the lines to water itself, markers pointing to underground springs, channels, or places where the earth yields moisture. For communities dependent on scarce resources, mapping the hidden flow of water could be a sacred act. Early 20th century researchers suggested astronomical alignments, the lines as a giant sky calendar, pointing to solstices or the rising of important stars. That idea captured the public imagination, offering a neat cosmic explanation. Yet careful analysis shows that while some lines align with celestial events, many do not. The pattern resists a single tidy interpretation. A more poetic possibility is that the figures were messages to the heavens, images meant to be seen by deities above. In this view, the desert becomes a canvas for communication with forces beyond human sight. It's an appealing idea, but it is hard to test and easy to romanticize.
And then there are the oddities that refuse to fit any single theory. Some lines converge on nothing. Some figures are tucked where no hill gives a clear view. Newer lines overlap older ones, hinting at centuries of changing use and meaning. Certain straightaways ignore natural obstacles, cutting across ridges and gullies as if the landscape itself were secondary to the design. Why would a people carve lines that cross inconvenient terrain unless the lines themselves mattered more than any practical function? Modern technology has sharpened the mystery rather than solved it. Drones, LiDAR, and satellite imagery have revealed faint lines and subtle patterns invisible from the ground. Each new discovery complicates the picture. More lines, more figures, more layers of activity. What once looked like a finite set of geoglyphs now appears as a palimpsest of human choices, erased and rewritten over generations. Consider the human scale of the effort. These were not quick scratches, but deliberate acts requiring planning, coordination, and labor. Stakes, ropes, and simple surveying techniques could produce straight lines and scaled figures, but the decision to commit time and resources to such projects speaks to a cultural importance we can only glimpse. The lines are not just puzzles, they are traces of ritual,
survival, and community. We must also remember the people behind the lines: farmers, artisans, priests, and families who lived in a harsh environment and found ways to make meaning out of scarcity. Their choices left a message we still struggle to read. The Nazca Lines are a record of priorities and beliefs, of what a society chose to mark on the earth when every mark cost effort.
So, what were the Nazca trying to tell us? A map, a prayer, a calendar, or a message to the sky? Each theory explains pieces, but none fits every oddity. The desert keeps its secrets, and the lines wait for the next eye in the sky to notice a clue we missed. For now, the Nazca remain one of archaeology's most beautiful and stubborn mysteries. In the Bay of Bengal lies an island almost untouched by the modern world. Its beaches are narrow, its forests are dense, and beyond its shores lives one of the world's most isolated indigenous communities, the Sentinelese. North Sentinel Island is part of India's Andaman and Nicobar Islands. The island covers roughly 60 square kilometers and is protected as a tribal reserve. Indian law prohibits outsiders from entering the island or approaching it too closely. Very little is known about the Sentinelese, not because researchers have failed to look, but because the community has repeatedly made its wishes clear. They do not want contact. Their language has not been documented, and their population cannot be accurately counted without disturbing them. Observers believe they live through fishing, hunting, gathering, and small-scale cultivation, using tools and weapons made from materials available on the island. But these details remain limited. Most importantly, the Sentinelese should not be treated as an archaeological curiosity or an attraction. They are a living people with the right to decide who enters their homeland. Contact could be catastrophic. People who have lived in isolation for generations may lack immunity to common illnesses such as influenza, measles, or other infections. Even a seemingly harmless encounter could introduce diseases capable of devastating the entire community. For this reason, India maintains an exclusion zone around North Sentinel Island. The island and its surrounding waters are protected under the Andaman and Nicobar Islands Protection of Aboriginal Tribes Regulation, 1956. The policy is simple: observe from a distance, do not land, and do not attempt to communicate. Over the years, some outsiders have tried to approach the island. A few encounters appeared peaceful, but others ended with warning gestures, arrows, or retreating boats. These reactions are often described as hostility, but from another perspective, they are acts of self-defense. The Sentinelese have witnessed outsiders arriving by sea for generations. They have no reason to assume that every visitor brings safety. Their resistance may be the clearest form of communication available. Stay away. In 2018, an American missionary named John Allen Chow illegally attempted to reach the island. He was killed after trying to make contact with the Sentinelese. The incident renewed global debate about religion, exploration, colonial history, and the ethics of contacting isolated communities. But it also reinforced a central lesson. Curiosity does not outweigh another community's right to remain undisturbed. The Sentinelese do not need to be discovered. They are not waiting to be rescued from their way of life. North Sentinel Island reminds us that not every place belongs to tourists, researchers, or adventurers. Sometimes, the most responsible action is not to go closer. To respect the Sentinelese is to respect their boundary, their safety, and their right to choose isolation. Beyond the horizon, the forest continues, and the island remains what it has always been. Not a mystery for us to solve, but a home that must be left alone. In northwestern Venezuela, there is a place where the night sky can erupt into a seemingly endless electrical storm. Again and again and again. For centuries, sailors approaching Lake Maracaibo have reported seeing flashes of light illuminating the horizon. Today, the phenomenon is known as Catatumbo lightning, one of the most remarkable natural displays of lightning on Earth. At its peak, thunderstorms can produce lightning repeatedly for hours, sometimes appearing almost continuous from a distance. NASA satellite observations have identified the Lake Maracaibo region as one of the world's most intense lightning hotspots. One NASA analysis found that the region experiences deep convection, powerful thunderstorm development, on roughly 297 days of the year on average, with activity peaking at night. But why here? Why does one particular region of Venezuela produce so much lightning? The answer begins with geography. Lake Maracaibo is enormous, and it sits between branches of the northern Andes. Warm, humid air enters the region from the Caribbean. During the day, the tropical sun heats the land around the lake. As evening arrives, temperatures and air pressure differences begin to change the wind patterns. Air flows down from the surrounding mountains while moist air remains over the warm lake. The result is a natural atmospheric trap. The humid air is pushed upward. As that air rises, it cools and forms towering thunderclouds. Inside those clouds, countless water droplets and ice particles collide. Those collisions separate electrical charges. Eventually, the difference in charge becomes so large that the air can no longer act as an insulator. An electrical discharge tears through the cloud. Lightning. Then another. And another. NASA research has highlighted a low-level jet of air over the Maracaibo region that transports moisture toward the mountains, helping drive the intense convection that makes these storms so persistent. But what makes Catatumbo truly remarkable is not simply the strength of the individual lightning bolts, it's their repetition. From certain locations around Lake Maracaibo, lightning can illuminate the clouds for hours. NASA has described scenes where lightning strikes the area at rates approaching dozens of flashes per minute during active periods. And this phenomenon is not a recent discovery. Long before satellites and weather stations existed, people were already watching these storms. The flashes became such a reliable feature of the local night sky that the phenomenon was historically known as the Lighthouse of Catatumbo. There are accounts of sailors using the distant glow as a natural navigational reference, and the effect can be extraordinary. Imagine being on a small boat on the lake after sunset. There may be almost complete darkness around you. Then, suddenly, the entire cloud bank flashes white. A second later, another section lights up. Then another. The sky appears to flicker continuously over the horizon. And because the storms can recur so frequently, the phenomenon has sometimes been described as a never-ending storm. But there is an important misconception. Catatumbo lightning is not literally a single storm that never stops. The storms come and go. Their frequency changes throughout the year. Weather patterns such as El Niño and La Niña can influence the amount of activity. What makes the region extraordinary is that its combination of warm water, abundant moisture, mountain terrain, and local wind circulation makes powerful thunderstorms unusually common. And scientists are still studying exactly how these ingredients interact. That research could have applications far beyond Venezuela. Scientists have explored whether the unusual predictability of the region could eventually help improve lightning forecasting. Because elsewhere, predicting the exact location and timing of lightning can be extremely difficult. Around Lake Maracaibo, nature gives researchers something rare,
a repeating atmospheric laboratory. There is even another fascinating detail. Lightning isn't simply light and sound. Powerful thunderstorms can produce extremely energetic radiation, including brief bursts known as terrestrial gamma-ray flashes. NASA has observed these high-energy phenomena from space, revealing that thunderstorms can behave almost like gigantic natural particle accelerators. So when we look at Catatumbo lightning, we're not simply watching a beautiful storm. We're watching one of the most electrically active environments on our planet. A lake, a chain of mountains, warm tropical air, moisture from the Caribbean, and a constantly shifting atmosphere, all combining to create a natural light show that humans have witnessed for centuries. There is no ancient machine hidden beneath the lake. No supernatural explanation is necessary. The real mystery is perhaps even more impressive.
How can the geography of one place on Earth create a storm system so persistent that its lightning once served as a natural lighthouse? And every night, when the conditions are right, the sky over Lake Maracaibo begins to answer. One flash at a time, then another and another, until Venezuela's night sky is once again illuminated by the Lighthouse of Catatumbo. Deep beneath southeastern Romania, near the Black Sea, there is a cave where sunlight has not reached for millions of years. No trees, no grass, no blue sky, no fresh air. Instead, there is darkness, toxic gas, warm, mineral-rich water, and strange, pale creatures moving through an underground maze. This is Movile Cave, one of the most extraordinary ecosystems ever discovered. Movile Cave is located in southeastern Romania, not far from the Black Sea. It was discovered in 1986 during geological work in the area. At first, it may have seemed like just another cave, but once scientists entered, they realized they had found something remarkable, an ecosystem that had remained largely isolated from the outside world for roughly 5.5 to 6 million years. That means many of the creatures inside evolved in darkness, separated from the plants, animals, weather, and sunlight on the surface. The cave is not welcoming. Its air contains very little oxygen compared with the air we breathe. It also contains high levels of carbon dioxide, methane, ammonia, and hydrogen sulfide, the chemical that smells like rotten eggs. The water and air inside can be dangerous to humans. Researchers must enter carefully, using protective equipment and following strict procedures to avoid harming either themselves or this fragile environment. But here is the real mystery. How can life survive in a place with no sunlight?
Almost every ecosystem we know begins with the sun. Plants use sunlight to make food through photosynthesis. Animals eat plants or eat other animals that ate plants. In one way or another, most life on Earth depends on solar energy. But Movile Cave follows a different rule. At its base are microscopic organisms, bacteria and other microbes that use chemical energy instead of sunlight. This process is called chemosynthesis. These microbes draw energy from chemicals in the cave's groundwater, including hydrogen sulfide, methane, and ammonium. They form slimy floating films and microbial mats on the water and surfaces of the cave. In effect, these bacteria take the role that plants play in a forest or a grassland. They form the starting point of the food chain. Then come the animals. Tiny organisms feed on the microbial mats. Larger animals feed on them. And predators feed on the smaller creatures. Scientists have identified spiders, centipedes, beetles, snails, leeches, crustaceans, worms, and a rare water scorpion in Movile Cave. Many of these animals are pale, because color is useless in total darkness. Some have reduced eyes or no functional eyes at all. Their bodies have adapted to an environment where vision is far less important than touch, vibration, and chemical signals. The cave contains more than 50 recorded invertebrate species, with dozens considered endemic, meaning they are found nowhere else on Earth. Movile Cave also teaches scientists something important about the search for life beyond Earth. Its ecosystem is often compared to life around deep-sea hydrothermal vents, where organisms also survive without sunlight by using chemical energy. That raises an exciting possibility. If life can thrive in dark, toxic, oxygen-poor environments beneath Romania, then perhaps life could also exist beneath the surface of other worlds, such as Mars or the icy moons of Jupiter and Saturn. Movile Cave is not supernatural. Its mysteries are grounded in chemistry, evolution, and survival. But that may be what makes it even more incredible. Hidden beneath an ordinary Romanian landscape is a sealed-off ecosystem where life has spent millions of years proving that sunlight is not the only way a world can stay alive. In the middle of Turkmenistan's Karakum Desert, there's a place where the ground appears to burn. At night, a huge crater glows orange. Thousands of flames flicker from its depths, lighting the desert like an open furnace. It is called the Door to Hell, or the Darvaza Gas Crater. The crater is near the small settlement of Darvaza in Turkmenistan. It is roughly 70 meters wide and around 30 meters deep. For decades, natural gas escaping from underground has fueled flames inside the pit. The result is one of the planet's strangest human-made landscapes, a fire that seems to have no end. But how did it begin? The most famous story says Soviet engineers were drilling for natural gas here in 1971. The ground supposedly collapsed beneath their equipment, opening a crater and releasing methane. To stop poisonous gas from spreading, the story goes, they set it on fire, expecting the fuel to burn out within days or weeks. Instead, the flames continued for decades. However, the exact history is not certain. Public Soviet records of the supposed accident have not been found, and researchers have noted conflicting accounts of when the collapse and ignition happened. Satellite analysis suggests the current long-burning fire may have begun later, between late 1987 and early 1988.
What is certain is the science behind the fire. Natural gas is mostly methane, a highly flammable gas. It seeps upward through cracks and porous rock beneath the crater. When it meets oxygen and ignites, it burns, creating the flames visible today. This makes the Door to Hell both a spectacle and an environmental concern. Methane is a powerful greenhouse gas, so burning it converts much of it into carbon dioxide and water. But the crater also represents a loss of valuable natural gas, and uncontrolled gas leaks remain a climate problem. Despite its dangers, the crater became one of Turkmenistan's best-known attractions. Visitors camp in the desert and watch the pit glow after sunset. But the fire may not last forever. Turkmenistan's government has repeatedly discussed extinguishing it, partly to conserve gas and reduce emissions. In 2025, officials said the flames had been significantly reduced, although reports indicated some fire was still visible. The Door to Hell is not a gateway to another world. It is a reminder of something more real. Beneath quiet desert sand, Earth stores immense energy, and when humans disturb it, the consequences can burn for generations.
If you liked the video, please like, share, and subscribe. Also, let us know what you think about the most mysterious places of Earth on the comments below. Your engagement motivates us to create more videos like this.